England's history with the Vikings is a fascinating tale of invasion, conquest, and cultural exchange. The Viking Age occurred roughly from the late 8th century to the early 11th century, and during this time, Norse seafarers from Scandinavia, known as Vikings, embarked on raids, settlements, and trading expeditions throughout Europe, including England. The first recorded Viking raid on England took place in 793 AD when Vikings attacked the Lindisfarne monastery in Northumbria, marking the beginning of a tumultuous relationship between the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons who inhabited England at the time. The Vikings were skilled navigators and warriors, and their longships allowed them to navigate rivers and coastal areas, giving them a tactical advantage. Throughout the 9th century, Viking raids became more frequent and widespread across various parts of England. The kingdoms of Northumbria, East Anglia, and Mercia all faced Viking incursions, with the Great Heathen Army launching significant campaigns from the late 860s onwards. These Viking armies, led by figures like Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons, sought not only plunder but also territorial conquest. In 865, the Great Heathen Army invaded the Anglo-Saxon kingdom of Northumbria and eventually captured the city of York. Subsequently, they expanded their control to East Anglia and Mercia. In 871, King Alfred of Wessex, later known as Alfred the Great, ascended the throne and faced the Viking threat. Alfred managed to halt the Viking advance, and through a series of military and diplomatic efforts, he negotiated a treaty with the Vikings, establishing a boundary known as the Danelaw. The Danelaw was a region in England where Viking influence was particularly strong, and it encompassed parts of Northumbria, East Anglia, and the eastern half of Mercia. The Vikings established their own settlements and exerted significant cultural influence in these areas, leading to a blending of Norse and Anglo-Saxon customs and language. Despite the Danelaw, Viking raids continued into the 10th century, but they became less focused on conquest and more on plunder and trading. Vikings established trading posts in various parts of England, contributing to increased cultural exchange and economic activity. By the mid-10th century, the Anglo-Saxon kingdom of Wessex, under King Athelstan, managed to reassert control over much of England, including the Danelaw. This marked a turning point in Viking-English relations, as the Vikings' influence gradually waned. In 1066, a significant event took place in English history known as the Norman Conquest. The Vikings were no longer the invaders. Instead, it was the Normans, descendants of Vikings who had settled in the region of Normandy in France. Led by Duke William of Normandy, William the Conqueror, they defeated King Harold II of England at the Battle of Hastings, leading to the establishment of Norman rule over England. Despite their tumultuous past, the Vikings' impact on England was significant. They contributed to the development of trade networks, language, and cultural exchange, leaving a lasting legacy on the history of the country. Today, the influence of the Vikings can still be seen in various aspects of English culture and language.